I wanted to ask you on the political front. We know that the Ishiba administration is planning this almost 14 trillion yen in terms of the economic stimulus package. How much do you think this additional spend is going to put pressure on an already pretty challenging fiscal situation in Japan? We know that debt servicing costs have been rising, albeit very slowly, and the expectation, albeit very slowly, is that the Bank of Japan will continue to normalise monetary policy.
Well, first of all, the stimulus package coming from the government is really confirming the willingness of the government to try to stimulate the economy further so that we are getting out of what is known as deflation period completely once and for all. So that is the really strong commitment by the government, particularly in the current environment of politics. There is only a minority ruling coalition, and the third party, the Democratic Party for the People, DPFP, has somehow kind of the casting vote. And that party is really strongly willing to stimulate the younger generation by expanding their income, so on and so forth. So I think this stimulus package is probably likely to provide some of the strength to the economy, not this year, but more likely to be next year. We estimate that some increase in the GDP coming from this package will be somewhere around 0.5 or 0.6% next fiscal year. So this is meaningful. This is meaningful stimulus. But still, there are other factors. For example, there are other uncertainty associated with the incoming administration of the United States, tariffs and escalation, possible escalation of trade war, and on the other side, upside risk associated with the inflation pressure in the United States is also something BOJ has to look at. So there are a lot of the other factors, upside and downside, other than the just stimulus package from the government. And on the fiscal side, concern sustainability of the debt or some other things associated with this debt. But still, Japan has a lot of the savings in the private sector. So this kind of magnitude of the increase in the government debt is easily absorbed by a lot of the funds still available in the market. So I don't think there is any sizable concern around the sustainability of the debt. I don't think we're going to near where, like this France, where the spread of the government bond is rising recently. Doesn't happen in Japan.
Momma-san, I see in your notes that, we talk about the fact that wages is going to be a key component for the Bank of Japan in terms of what happens next year with monetary policy normalization. You say that wages likely to rise by a similar magnitude compared to this year. But I'm just wondering, given some of the uncertainties, particularly in terms of tariff threats stateside, also other than this reading, we've seen that inflation has been moderating and also some of the constraints, financial constraints for SMEs. How bullish are you that that will actually happen and materialize these higher wage hikes in the same vein as this year?
Well, I am reasonably optimistic about the wage trend going forward. As a matter of fact, some of the anecdotal indication from the comments from the major companies, actually they're generally committed to continuous wage hike going forward. And also, only several days ago, Rengo, the big labor union organization, committed to ask the corporate manager to raise wages at the same magnitude of the last year, this year's spring. So I think the general atmosphere in the labor union and corporate manager are quite encouraging towards the spring wage negotiation next year. And also from macroeconomic point of view, as we discussed earlier, a fiscal stimulus and other environment currently formulating Japan's economy is quite encouraging going forward. So I think the wage inflation will be probably in line with the 2% price inflation of the BOJ's objective. But probably the factor that we have to take into account going forward is that the uncertainty associated with the U.S. economy, not just tariffs, but overall U.S. economy, because that is the very important factor that could affect Japan's economy as well.